Heidi Sonboul Summer DIY Challenge. Link to Heidi's channel and the playlist link will be in my description box. My summer DIYs are all about the beach. I hope you enjoy them. I'm starting out with a stencil that I found online. I just googled sea turtle image and a bit of air dry clay that I just want to kind of get softened up and work into a mound and then flatten out so I have a good enough thickness that my turtle won't fall apart once I cut it out. And once it's ready, I place my stencil on top and I just do an outline using a skewer. And then I use a plastic clay knife just to cut through and to pull my turtle out. And once the turtle is pulled out, I take the excess and just work it into a mound again and flatten it. And this time I'm just going to trace the outline of the shell. And once I have it pulled out, I just want to kind of smooth it out a bit and then I lay it on top of my first piece that I cut out just to make sure that it's the right size. And then I'm going to cut out the middle portion of this because I'm going to lay it on top, and what's going to go inside are beautiful glass beads that I found at Dollar Tree. Then I smooth out the area that I cut. And I take my plastic tool and I make little lines around the outside edge of the shell. Then I take the bamboo skewer and I make just little score marks along the edge of the shell of the turtle body itself so that I could join the second piece on top of that, and they'll fuse together so when they dry they don't come apart. And now I want to make a starfish, so I repeat the same steps of working with the clay. This time I just used this rubber starfish I found at Dollar Tree in the toy area as my stencil. And the last thing I wanted to make was a sand dollar. So again, I used a bit of clay and I was working it in my palm, trying to get a pretty good size circle and have a good thickness to it. And once that was achieved, I just laid it down and used the rubber starfish to make an imprint in the middle and my little plastic tool to make the little markings in between. And I think it really looks like a sand dollar. And here they are, all dry. They dried quicker than the turtle did because they're not as thick, and I did end up making just another tiny little sand dollar and they came out really nice. And here is the turtle all dry. It did take just a little bit longer than 24 hours. So now I want to go ahead and fill in the middle. I have Fix All and different glass beads and crushed glass from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to apply the Fix All first and then add beads on top of the Fix All. The glue was running out a little bit faster than I thought it would, so I just used a piece of cardboard to push it back and to hold my beads up. And then I ended up using pieces of snipped toothpick to stick in to separate the areas. I didn't want them to be defined blocks of beads. I wanted them to look kind of freeform, so I'm just going to keep applying the fix-all kind of like a resin pour, and the beads go in, and the toothpicks will keep them separated, but once it's all finished you won't see the toothpicks. It'll just be like floating different areas of colored beads. Once there was a nice amount of beads set on the first layer, I went ahead and added another layer of the fix-all glue to kind of settle the top and seal it down so none of those beads would spill out. And then the area where there is the long toothpick, I took some of the long glass beads and laid those on top of the fix-all glue to disguise the toothpick. And once my glue had set up enough, I used Crafter's Choice metallic silver paint for the body of the sea turtle. And here it is with the other clay pieces, and it turned out really beautiful. It looks like it could be like a large brooch, a piece of jewelry. I really love the way this looks with the glass beads. All of the clay pieces turned out very nice. I found these cute mermaid cutouts at Michael's, and I want to use these in a wreath along with Ocean Breeze acrylic paint, also from Michael's. I'm not going to do a full paint job on the mermaids. I want them to end up looking very worn and washed out. So once they dry, I added a bit of white apple barrel matte as well. These coasters I found at Dollar Tree are just so adorable that I just had to add them onto my wreath along with these shells. I think this trio is just too cute not to put into a wreath. So I'm going to try to set up like a pattern of mermaid, shell, flip-flop, shell, mermaid, and go all the way around. Hanging out at the beach with your flip-flops, you know, your feet in the sand, collecting shells, listening to the waves, just relaxing. That's one of the best parts of summer. Really love how this looks. great beachy icons, mermaid shells and flip-flops. Next are these shell bikini tops. I thought these were just the cutest when I saw them at Dollar Tree, and not a fashion statement I would personally make, but I thought they would be really adorable coastal beach decor. So I used some of the Dollar Tree spackle just to fill in the holes where the strings were and set these aside to let them dry. To mount the shells, I'm going to use a combination of foam dice and tumbling tower blocks. First, I'm going to go ahead and paint these dice with a matte jet black. And I used the heated end of the hot glue gun to make a hole at the base of the shells so that I could insert the bamboo skewers. I want there to be a height variation between these two, so one of them I pushed the skewer up a bit further than the other. I added a tad of hot glue just so that the skewer wouldn't slip out. I also found a dolphin that I want to mount the same way as the shells, but first I want to paint the top part of him with granite gray. And with the paint all dry on the foam pieces, I went ahead and assembled the skewers into them and then used some hot glue to adhere them to the tumbling tower blocks. And here they are, complete, really cute duo as they are in this white. But I think to kick it up a notch, a little outline of a metallic color, maybe a rose gold or a yellow gold, would give it a Z Gallery effect. And this is a gold paint marker that I found at Target, and I'm just going to go around the outside edge of both of the shells. And this is how they look with the gold outline. I think this really adds something to it, but tell me, what do you think? All white or the gold outline? Which one do you like better? And now I'm gonna get my dolphin situated and get the base ready and get him mounted the exact same way, putting a hole in the bottom using the tip of the hot glue gun and then inserting my skewer. I like these as a trio. This is a really nice beachy coastal vibe. What do you think of these three? I found this gorgeous sea turtle scarf at Dollar Tree, and it's just so beautiful with all the images of the turtles just swimming through the water. So I want to attach it to this 11 by 14 frame. This is the biggest frame that I saw, the biggest canvas at Dollar Tree, and I think this will be just the most beautiful art. So I stretched out one end of the scarf and snipped it. Once my fabric was snipped, I applied a generous amount of gloss Mod Podge to the canvas. I know that there is a type of Mod Podge for fabric. I don't have that, so I'm just using what I have. and stretched the fabric out and applied it to the canvas, and then just used my hand to press it down to get rid of any bubbles, and I just worked my way down the canvas. Once that had set up, I applied a layer of Mod Podge over the top. I went around and snipped the edges, the excess fabric. In hindsight, I guess I could have just glued it down, but once that was complete, I started to hot glue some of the soft cotton nautical rope around the edge of the picture to make a frame. The ends really frayed and came apart really badly, so it took a good amount of glue to kind of get it under control. Here it is finished. I think this print is really pretty as a picture. Let me know, what do you think of this? I really think sea turtles are just beautiful, and coincidentally, we're in sea turtle nesting season here in South Florida. Okay, I'm starting out with this vase that I got on clearance at Big Lots. A piece of it's missing, so I'm just gonna hot glue nautical rope to the top just to give the top a more finished look. And then I decided to add another piece of rope around the neck of the jar as well. With that complete, I add sea glass that I found at Dollar Tree last year, and a small amount of clear glass marbles to the bottom. And when that was finished, I added the little tea light hanger back in and popped the tea light in. Really super simple. This can be done with any of the Dollar Tree glass vases and some of the colored marbles. Really cute, beachy look. And here is everything all together. Oh, I just love the way the mermaids look on this wreath. And my favorite of all are the sea turtles. They look like they're flying when the way their flippers are going when they were in the ocean. I'm just so happy with the way all of these projects turned out. I really hope that you enjoy them as well, and I hope you'll join me next Friday for 5 more coastal DIYs. Please let me know in the comments what you think of these projects, and enjoy the playlist. The description box will have the link.